I'm going to tell you why the Nuggets should be terrified of this matchup with the Timberwolves and look at 3 keys to victory for Minnesota as they look to pull off the upset against the defending champs. So let's get into all of that. But first, Wolves bat.
Howl, beat up game, boy.
All right, so we all know these two teams squared off in the postseason last year. The Nuggets pulled off the gentleman's sweep, winning it in 5 games. But the Timberwolves were without their best perimeter defender, Jaden McDaniels, and their top bench player, Naz Reid. With that said, though, the Wolves still held Nikola Jokic to his lowest amount of points per game, rebounds, and assists of all 4 series that Denver was in last year. And that's key number 1 for the Wolves in this series. Defend Nikola Jokic. Yes, I know that is way easier said than done. I know you can never fully shut him down. He's going to get his. But the Wolves have had some success in limiting his playmaking and forcing him to score. In the 4 games against the Timberwolves in the regular season, Nikola Jokic averaged just 4.3 assists per game, which was by far his lowest assist rate of any matchup this season. And part of the reason for that is because the Wolves have prioritized taking away the pass. They just present so much length on the defensive side of the ball that a lot of the normal passing windows just simply aren't there. I mean, look, Jokic is... He's good. He's pretty good. I don't know if you guys know. He's pretty good. He's so skilled and efficient offensively. It's like no matter who you throw at him, he's still going to score. So I think the philosophy is why overcommit to stopping Nikola Jokic when he's going to score regardless. And if you do overcommit and you double consistently, he's always going to make the right play. That's what he's known for. He makes the right play every single time. So make the right play be for him to attempt to aggressively score, and you just live with the results. It's similar to what the Wolves did in the series against Phoenix. They put Cat on Kevin Durant and they said, look, we can live with KD shooting 10 for 17 from mid-range, and that's what he had to settle for a lot of the times. He wasn't driving to the rim. He was settling for mid-range. He didn't attempt a ton of threes, and so I think the same philosophy kind of goes in this one. It's, hey, put Cat on Jokic and then let Rudy be in that roaming kind of role where he's just an off-ball defender and he's kind of playing the gap between helping on Jokic and also guarding Aaron Gordon on the perimeter. And look, in this series, the Wolves are going to have to live with something. Because when you play a team that is so complete like the Nuggets are, they're starting 5 anyway, you have to live with some kind of a sacrifice. And for the Wolves, I think the most logical thing for them to give up is open looks to guys like Aaron Gordon. And you just kind of live with the results. If Aaron Gordon is going to light you up for 4 out of the 7 games in this series, and he's the reason they win is because he's hitting threes, the Wolves, you tip your cap. You live with that. But anyways, you put Cat on Jokic and you live with the fact that Jokic is probably going to drop 30, 40, could even see him go over 50 in one of these games in the series. And so speaking of Aaron Gordon and making other guys beat you, that brings me to point number 2, which is depth. Because like I said earlier, the Nuggets may very well have the best starting 5 in the NBA, but their bench is absolutely doo-doo dog breath. In the Lakers series, they pretty much played an 8 to 9 man rotation with Christian Brown, Peyton Watson, Reggie Jackson, and occasionally Justin Holiday getting the most minutes. But I think they're going to have to give DeAndre Jordan some more run in this series against the Wolves. They're just going to need more size to combat all the bigs that the Wolves run out there. And yeah, I mean, this is clearly the biggest advantage that the Wolves have, in my opinion. They may very well be the deepest team in the playoffs with 6th man of the year Naz Reid, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who's been an absolute pest defensively, Monte Morris, and Kyle Anderson all coming off the bench. Meanwhile, the Nuggets have a bunch of 60 overall brown shirt my players running around out there. Look, knock on wood, but if the injury bug were to strike both of these teams, the Timberwolves have a much higher shot at adapting on the fly and overcoming it because of their depth. Plus, Jamal Murray and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope are both a little banged up right now, and that could be a major factor. This series is going to be super physical, and if it's going to go the distance, if it goes 7 games, the fact that Denver already has 2 of its starting 5 players a little banged up right now, I'm not wishing injury upon anybody. I never wish injury upon anybody, but that is a real factor here that you have to consider. Because say you lose a guy like KCP for a game or 2, that's 1 less defender that you now have to throw at Anthony Edwards. And speaking of Anthony Edwards, he is my final key to victory in this one. I'm very curious to see how Denver decides to defend him in this series. Are they going to consistently put 2 on the ball like Phoenix did? Or maybe put Aaron Gordon on him and just play him straight up? He averaged 31, 8, and 6 while shooting nearly 44% from 3 during the Phoenix series. And if he's able to sustain that, it's just going to open the entire offense up, and this will definitely be a competitive series. The good news, though, is that even when his shot isn't falling, he's usually pretty impactful on the game with his defense and his overall effort and intensity. I do expect Denver to mix up the coverages on him, but just like he did against the Suns, he just has to assert himself while still making good decisions and not turn the ball over. I'm gonna hold off on the cliche MJ comparisons for now, but dude, if he goes off and the Wolves win this series, I think it might be time for MJ to take a paternity test. So those are my keys to victory for the Wolves in this one, but let me know in the comments down below what you think the Wolves have to do to win this series against the Denver Nuggets. And until next time, Wolves back.
Howl, beat up.